Yeah, I remember you saying that you actually recommend working with a person that actually cares about you rather than calling a number. That's a good thing I think for people to hear.
The best insurance agents that I work with specifically say that they give their clients their personal number and they can call them anytime. Because you never know. You know, if they're only open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and your disaster happens on the weekend, and you get, a dial tone, that sucks. Yes. Right. So, like I said, the best insurance agents I work with, that tree fall situation I was telling you about, one of the insurance agents called me. They called him on a Sunday, and, of course the, we had forecasted rain on Monday. So it was like, either you do something now or, it's going to suck. So it's important to have somebody that you can, just dial in the event of something happening. Cause, obviously that insurance agent knows me, so she can rely on me to make things happen, and vice versa. When it comes to, any other situation, I mean, water restoration or any like fire, smoke, electrician, plumber, having an agent that has those people on speed dial, for when those accidents happen is always going to be a better outcome.
What's your number one recommended way to build relationships with insurance agents so that you become a go-to trusted company and vendor for their needs?
So like what I do to get in with these insurance agents? I mean, for me, it's very simple. Like, you just be real with them. It's like, hey, like the biggest thing that helped me out is like the more conversations I have with insurance agents, the more I understand the process and more I understand how insurance companies work. So, the better that I can talk to these insurance agents and kind of speak their language and be like, hey, I know what's important to you as an insurance agent, and I'm going to provide those things as a roofer to your clients. Because the easiest way to think about it is, I'm a sales guy. Well, guess what? Insurance agents are salespeople, right? So anytime I approach someone specific, regardless of what, industry they're in, because my conversation with the insurance agent is different than a real estate agent, because I work with those people too, right? Insurance agents, they care about two things: client retention, or three things, right? Client retention, new policies, and their claims rate, right? So with new policies, they mostly figure that out themselves. Usually I come in on the back end, so I'm already working with people, so I can't really help them on that. So I focus on the other two things, which is, their claims rate. So if I'm, working with them, their corporate, tracks all that stuff. They track everything that's moved around. They track, because they use claims to track like the profitability of, their clients and things like that. So, and if I can reduce their claims rate, especially like, it's not that I'm telling people to not file claims when they need it, because I'm not doing that. If it's a good situation for a claim, I'm going to be honest about that. Yeah. It's just, it's those like 20 to 30% of those claims that are filed for no reason, keeping those from hitting the system. And people start asking like, all right, why does insurance is getting so expensive? Well, part of it is, there's large events and stuff that are lost, but also you have people telling people to file claims that don't need to be filed. So they're wasting adjusters' time. They're wasting resources from that insurance company to go check out on every single one of these claims that are filed. And that all costs manpower and money to fund and do. And then they have to, send all that stuff back where somebody, at corporate has to make a decision on whether or not it makes sense. So like, you have all this manpower just to tell a customer no. Right. When that whole situation could have been avoided in the first place. So like all that stuff factors in. And it's created the industry that we have, because, as of right now, and you ask any insurance agents this and they'll probably give you a similar number, but for every dollar of home insurance that an insurance agent sells, they lose anywhere between $1.15 to $1.30. Home insurance is a loss. Wow. Across the board. Wow. So insurance companies right now, why we're seeing so many changes is because they're trying to make it profitable. It's not profitable right now. Wow. So even if you were to go to a company and just get home insurance from them, they're going to let you get it for 1 year. And then they're going to come back to you and say, hey, thanks for being our customer. If you want us to continue having home insurance with you, then you're going to need to bundle the rest of your stuff with us. Bundling, that's why they're all big on bundling, because they make money on the auto, they make money on the life and all the other insurances that you can get. Home insurance is not profitable. There's no company out there that's just going to write you home insurance. They want something else to help offset the loss that they're most likely going to have with home insurance. Wow. So there's a couple ways, people or companies are kind of dealing with that. We have rate increases. That's probably the easiest one and the most common one. Reducing the customer, like their customer pool, and that they've done that. Some companies have been very straightforward with what they're willing to insure. So, Progressive, for example, is funny enough being very progressive with their policies. They won't insure a house that's over 7 years old. If you try to get a new policy with Progressive and your roof is over 7 years old, they won't write you a policy.
Wow.
So, all right. Well, that kind of sucks, right?
Yep.
I'd say the average is around 15. If you have over a 15-year-old roof, so let's say you're trying to buy a house. Well, you need a loan that requires insurance. You need a new policy. Anytime you buy a house. So if you're trying to buy a house and the roof is over 15 years old, you're gonna have a tough time getting that house insured.
Wow.
So it's going to really limit your options. And anytime you limit options, it's also going to increase price because it's more risky for that, insurance company to insure it. So then you turn that around. So, and if your roof is over 20 years old, good luck. It's probably not going to happen.
Do home inspectors point that out? Do home inspectors, when you're buying a house?
You have to disclose the age of the roof every single time.
Of course.
So that information is very important. Anytime you do part of a transaction, and the reason why you ask that is because insurance needs that information in order to give you their quotes. So if you're buying a house and it's over 15 years old, my recommendation is to talk with your real estate agent and do that extra inspection on the roof to see if you can potentially negotiate a roof replacement out of that deal. That would be ideal, because then all the other things that I talked about, like negotiating a better premium because you have a new roof now. So now you can go back to the insurance company and say, hey, I have a brand new roof. Can you insure that? And you're going to have a much better time getting a really good insurance rate when it comes to buying a house. And then on the flip side, if you're selling a house and you have that over 15-year-old roof, I would consider, doing a full roof replacement before you put it on the market. Because if you just look at the math behind it, like if you have a new roof and everything else in your neighborhood doesn't, your house is going to be way more appealing. People love to see a new roof on that house, right? Something that they don't have to worry about. And then on top of that, however much you paid, let's say it's $10,000. Well, you can probably ask a much higher asking price. And because it's a new roof, you're going to have a lot more offers on that house. You're probably going to make a profit majority of the time for having a new roof on the house.
Wow.
So now, again, cash flow and things like that, you might not have, the cash ready to pull the trigger on a full roof replacement before you put it to market. So that's something to consider. So the alternative would be to offer a concession to the seller saying, hey, I know this roof needs to be replaced. We're willing to come down on the price to offer, make that change. But from, just like with anything else, I prefer have the cards in my hand. If I'm the seller, I want to hold the cards. I want to hold as many cards as possible. So, new roof being one of them, because that means you can ask for that, better price and kind of go through there. So,
wow, amazing, Royce. This has been amazing. We really appreciate having you here. Talk to me about Honor Roofing. Tell me a little bit about Honor Roofing before we start signing out here. Yeah. Tell us about Honor Roofing. How can people get in touch with Honor Roofing? How can they learn more? What's your process?
So I'm a sales guy. So if you're in the Raleigh area or greater Raleigh area, like Greensboro or Fayetteville, anything like within an hour and a half of Raleigh, I'd love to, reach out to me because I can get credit for anything that goes on, or you can call the office. It doesn't really matter.
And it sounds like you're a person that talks education, not high pressure sales. And I think a lot of people appreciate that.
You can actually look at my reviews, or the reviews for Honor Roofing online. Any of the ones that mention my name, I have quite a few on there. I think a very frequently used word is no upselling, which is like, I'm just tell you how it is, and be straightforward, and that's the way I do things. So, but yeah, you can reach out to me via email or phone. My email's Royce, that's ROICE at Honor Roofing. We spell honor a little differently, HONOUR. So honor roofing.com. So Royce at honorroofing.com, or my cell 919-264-7131. So that would be the easiest way. We do free inspections. So it's, if you get door knocked and they're telling you some horror stories about what's going on with your roof, be happy to give you a second opinion that's unbiased, before you file that claim. So that there's that. And then when it comes to we do a little bit more than just roofing. So we do, obviously, roofing repairs and replacements. We do residential and commercial stuff as well. So we can do that. Gutters and gutter guards, which is a very similar roof parallel. But we also do wood rot repair, like siding, fascia, soffit, painting as well. We do repairs for pretty much all the exterior. We also do interior painting and drywall, which is something that not a lot of roofers do. And the reason why we do that is because, if you have a leak and it messes up the interior painting, you don't want to have to call a second company to get quotes. That's kind of annoying. It's much easier to deal with just one person. So we offer that interior painting and drywall to fix the leak entirely. We fix the stuff on the outside, and then we come in a week or so later to fix the interior as well. We can do it as all part of the same project, which makes it much easier for the homeowner or anybody that we're working with. And then some auxiliary things, skylights, sun tunnels. Sun tunnels are really cool if you haven't heard of those. And then we also do radiant barrier installation. So if you're looking at a way to take that hot attic space and make it a little more heating and cooling efficient, radiant barrier would be a good solution, especially in the warmer areas like where I'm at in North Carolina.
Wow. It's all encompassing. So many things that you guys can do that they all play together: attic, roof, interior painting, water damage, all the things. So you're almost a one-stop shop. So everybody reach out to Royce, Honor Roofing. Wow, this has been huge value. Remember, don't call insurance first. Okay. Royce, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And to the Christian contractors listening in right now, thank you so much for tuning in to the Christian Contractor Podcast. I'm Brandon Guthrie with Dream Design Labs. If you're a Christian contractor that wants to take territory in God's name, learn how we do just that at go.dreamdesignlabs.com/apply. Check it out. It's free, and I guarantee you'll get great value from the content. Remember, marketing doesn't have to be hard. All you need is the right tools and the right heart to serve. Till next time, stay blessed. Royce, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely enjoyed it. And then I got a little tagline as well. So, Royce with Honor Roofing and Construction, where I take the oof out of your roof. So there you
go. That's good. I like that. And we're going to have you back on. I heard a little thing about real estate agents. Would love to share with other contractors how you build relationships with real estate agents, because that's a whole other conversation. So we'll have to have you back on for another one.
That'd be awesome, man.
Sound good?
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.